Well, after the debate Wednesday night, Senator Ted Cruz established himself as a legitimate candidate, and so did Marco Rubio. This, according to one writer from Washington who says there are a lot of people running for president, but really there are only 6 real candidates. Senior writer for the Weekly Standard, Jonathan Last, joins us. He's the man behind the piece, and we're glad to have him. Great to see you, Jonathan.
Good morning, Tucker.
So let's just get right to it. You say there are all these guys on the stage, but pay attention only to 6 of them. Who are they?
The 6 frontrunners, I think, the people who have non-zero chances are Trump, Rubio, Cruz, Carlson, and then I would say still an outside shot for both Chris Christie and Carly Fiorina.
This is one articulate bunch. The one thing that I think unites all 6 candidates is they can all talk fluidly and really well. Why do you say Carly Fiorina, who has an advantage over the others, I would say, in a race against Hillary, is only as an outside chance?
Well, you know, we looked at what happened with her numbers after the second debate. She had this dominating performance. Everybody agreed that she really crushed the entire stage. She had a huge bump in the polls, and then she kind of disappeared. She drifted down over the course of about 4 weeks. And that suggests that she doesn't have a lot of infrastructure. She doesn't have the real big mechanical infrastructure that you need to move and actually win the nomination. But that doesn't mean that she can't take off late in the game, and that's why I think you can't discount her entirely.
Sort of the inverse of Trump, really, who still, at this moment, leads in national polls, and yet is almost entirely discounted by everyone calling this race from Washington.
That's totally true. I think Stuart Stevens, the brilliant campaign manager who ran Mitt Romney's 2012 campaign, don't hold that against him. What he said, his verdict on Trump is this. For Donald Trump to be the nominee, then everything we know about politics has to be wrong. And I think that's possible. It could be that this time is really different. I'm always myself a little bit nervous when everybody says that this time is different, because usually it isn't. But that said, I discounted Trump early. I don't discount him as much anymore. I still think he probably is not the first or second favorite to be the nominee, but certainly has a chance.
Right. I don't think everything we know about politics is wrong, but a lot seems to be wrong.
Right.
I will say, if Trump doesn't become the nominee, that doesn't mean he hasn't changed the race pretty dramatically.
Totally true. And, you know, I would argue, I've written this before, I think he's changed the race for the better. I think the RNC and Republican elites who are very, I think, anxious about Trump ought to be grateful for him, actually. He's showed that it's okay to be a little bit negative about where the country actually is. It's good for candidates to be on the news and to be out in front and sort of have a lean, mean, and aggressive campaign. And he's highlighted immigration reform as well. And I think all those things are good for the rest of the field to have, even if Trump isn't the nominee.
Yeah, and you can say what you really think and not go to prison. It's nice to be reminded of that once in a while. So Marco Rubio really is, I think, in the view of most people in Washington, we're handicapping this, kind of already the nominee. Do you think people are overvaluing his stock?
Actually, if anything, I think they're undervaluing it. When I look at Rubio, the most obvious historical analog is Bill Clinton in 1992. In 1992, we had a very large Democratic field, a lot of people who were thought to be, serious quality candidates. But then you had this guy, Bill Clinton, who was, by general acclamation, the great political talent of his generation. He didn't actually win a primary until 4 or 5 primaries in. He was sort of in the position Rubio is now. He didn't quite catch fire, but everybody knew that this guy had the goods. We look back now, and Bill Clinton seems obvious to have been a 2-term president.
Yes.
I think we may think the same thing about Marco Rubio 8 years from now.
That is such a smart analogy. Jonathan Last, living proof that not everyone in Washington is out of touch, and some know what they're talking about. Great to see you this morning.
Good to see you, Tuck.